Um, I think the story of Strauss is really about entrepreneurship. Even though Strauss as a company exists now for 70 years and entrepreneurship is a new word, that's actually the real story. My grandparents, when they moved to Israel from Germany, they really had to start from nothing. Um, their background had nothing to do with the reality in Israel, so they really had to think, okay, what is it that we can do here in this new country where nothing exists? And they started with really the most basic thing, which is food. They bought 2 cows, and my grandmother was an amazing cook. And the first products were actually out of the kitchen. So as in every country, the first wave of entrepreneurship starts because there is nothing else to do. But if you want to support your family, you innovate from what you do because it's a necessity. So that's how it actually started. And with the years was, okay, we know how to do food. And at the time, there was one big cooperative that really ruled the market with the farmers and everything. So um, as a team management, they had to find a way to be different. So they actually started with product which did not exist in the market at the time, more of an indulgent, more of fun, more of convenient. And that's okay, that's how it all started. And with the years, that's actually what the team of people who work at Strauss are all about, really, entrepreneurship, looking at different category or then how to become international, finding the right niche. And we started actually with coffee. Um, we analyzed at the time the market and we saw it's very fragmented. So it was an opportunity for us to start actually in this category. And that's how it's all about working together as a team, amazing spirit, I would say, and just innovative. I have to say that all the years, I didn't think I'm a female executive. I was lucky enough to grow up in a family that um, equal opportunity and equal obligations were actually the foundation of what we are. It's called the German upbringing. Maybe it's not so much fun because the option of not working was not an option, whether a man, girl, it didn't really matter. So in our family, that was not a hurdle. My grandmother was there, and then afterwards my aunt. And my first job was at Estee Lauder, where, okay, women executives were everywhere. And just when I became the chair of our company, I started, people started to ask me, how is it to be a female executive? And I started to look around, and what I saw is I am one of few, very few executives. And that was my first really glimpse into this world where there are only few female executives in the business world. So if at the beginning it was really nice to be the only one and unique, this uniqueness stopped being really amusing. And what I really find that there need to be a lot of work to really change the reality, perception, prejudice, and it's about both sides really making the efforts. I mean, men and women. It's really everyone's job to change this reality, to make this world a better one. It goes back really to your first question. What is it about Strauss that makes us really an international company? I wouldn't even call it the success factor. But really, years ago, we looked back at Israel, which is our home base, and we saw that really what makes Israel so unique and brings all the innovation is really the diversity of the people and the fact that all the voices can be heard. And we really adapted it to the heart of our team as a team, and we decided diversity will make us more competitive in Israel, in the world. And of course, gender is the number one diversity factor if you look at it. So that's how it all started, and we decided we're going to take really tough decisions once we saw the numbers. Actually, it became from just value into really objectives of the CEO to have 50% managers, top managers in our company in like 3 or 4 years from now. And people are measured by it. So the first step is buy-in, understand what it means in terms of how can we be actually equal team with equal rights if we don't have equal men and women at the top of our company. And then the other step was, okay, that's what we do within, but we really want to have this, we call it movement of improvement in the world, that we want to join it. And we started to do tap and work together with NGOs on women empowerment. So it's not only in the company, it started this way, but now we are working with lots of organizations and the government to make the difference also in the Israeli society and the international as well. Alone, we came to the conclusion that the best way to make a difference is to work with others. It's impossible to do it by ourselves, especially being such a small and tiny company. So working with others, public sector, private sector, and the NGOs is really what we do now in order to empower women. So we have actually the financial reports every quarter, of course, like every other public company. But now we have our business social responsibility report every quarter as well. So you have 2 reports. One talks about all the stakeholders, really how we employ, who do we employ, how we in fact affect the environment, customer complaints, everything. It's in the one report, and the other one is really the financial report. And we really believe that between the 2 of them, we try to be as transparent as possible. It's never enough, by the way. It's never enough. So what we added to it is that we have those debates, open debates, round tables, which we do actually on the web. So we allowed all the NGO to come in and to ask us questions about our results, about what we do. I think transparency is hard work, and it's not that just publishing a report is the end of it, because things change so quickly outside that what you think was right today is not necessarily the right thing tomorrow. As a business, you think, okay, I employ, but the fact that who I employ and what is the right ratio of, for example, men and women. Is it us? Do we have to be 50-50? Is it because it's right for us, or it's the right thing to do? And then if we have different minorities, okay, it wasn't so obvious, let's say 10 or 20 years ago, that we have to make sure that in our workforce, everyone is represented there. And it's just very difficult because you have to change in order just, for example, if you take the ultra-Orthodox in Israel, the type of food we serve in our cafeteria needs to fit. And if they pray 3 or 4 times a day, do we need to have a special place for it or not? So this whole thing of actually, it is a business, but you run it as a small country. It's just a different way of looking at it. Okay, we sell food, but we always have to think, okay, on people's health, Are they too fat? Or do they eat too much? So suddenly, from just selling the product, the right product, actually you have to make sure that our consumers don't eat too much of it, or that they eat it in a certain time of their day or their life. So the whole notion of what is it a responsible business changes in ways that I have to say, when I first got a job, I wasn't sure, or I didn't know that's what it means to be a leader of a business 10 years ago. It's actually just a different way of looking at things. You get much more responsibility on one hand, but you have to just make sure that you don't actually are too invasive into people's life. So we sell chocolate, but okay, we have to say don't eat too much chocolate, or eat it once a day. Well, before it was my or our job to sell the product, and the parents' job to say, okay, eat that in the morning and that in the afternoon. But now it's just different. It's just we are responsible on actually how we communicate, what do we communicate, and sizes and prices, of course. Yeah, the what is the role of businesses in today's world is changing, and changing quite rapidly, I have to say. I really wish for us as a company, and for me, of course, as part of it, to reach to really more people, to touch more people's lives, and to really it's really a big word to say, but to be able to improve people's life through our business, through our actions, through what we do, is just a great reason to wake up in the morning. And I really think business businesses worldwide can do it. And we have lots of joint ventures. So we work with a family in Brazil. We work with a Chinese company Hire in China. So just really the globalization has a great aspect to it. There are no boundaries. And to be able to communicate with different cultures and to bring what is really good in one part of the world to another part, it's just fascinating. Really, when you know how to communicate, I think that there is just so much things we can do together, and business is just a great way to do things.